And we're back. Thank you for joining us for our BNI San Diego podcast. As you can tell, across the table from me is our very own Andy Cruz. And I like your sweatshirt, Andy.
Thank you for the sweatshirt, Ed. Actually, it's really comfortable. It's a little bit chilly today, so it was easy to wear this one in today. It was easy choice. We're doing a BNI show. I was a little chilly. Yeah. I'm your bald butler, I think is what we kind of came up with from another episode not too long ago. You brought up
not Higgins.
It was Alfred Pennyworth.
Yes.
Yeah, Batman's butler. So I'm your bald butler, I guess. So I'm just going to continue being the bald butler on the show, bringing whatever wisdom and knowledge I can continue sharing.
BNI bald butler.
Yeah. You have that like AAA for business? We got triple B. Like it's not as good. It's like one step below.
I love it.
I'm right there, I guess. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I don't want to screw this up. So I've got my phone out.
Let's do it. What are we talking about today?
I love this topic, and it came from a video that I actually happened to be watching with Kobe Bryant.
I love hockey.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. He was another bald guy.
I love baseball.
He was another bald guy.
Basketball.
Yeah. That's the bees. We're staying with the bees.
Yeah, I'm catching up.
And the topic was you can't cheat the work.
Oh, man.
You can't cheat the work.
Yeah.
How does that apply to what we do in BNI? Again, for me, we have this formula called what? VCP?
IVCP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forgot and we've actually done, we make it a little I.
Little
right?
I, yeah. Lowercase I.
Lowercase I, IVCP. So what do those stand for?
Well, okay, let's go with VCP first because people know what VCP is. Visibility, credibility, profitability.
Yes.
In that order without skipping steps and without jumping over 2 to get to 3. The I is invisibility. So people don't even know what you do or who you are and all that.
And the I, up until recently, was never there. It was invisible.
It's like it was. Yeah,
it was invisible.
It's kind of like ironic, right?
Yeah.
It was an invisible element of the VCP model, which is invisibility.
But we never and I'm trying to get rid of. Did I tell you that I'm trying to get rid of that word "but" out of my language?
No, you use it constantly.
I know.
Yeah, we just use the word butler. It's in the word butler.
Well, that's different. That's a different use of the word. Yes.
1 T.
So using and now I forgot my place where I was going to talk about.
And instead of
but and
about the invisibility.
But yeah.
It wasn't there till recently.
Correct. And people don't even realize that they're not even at visibility. They're actually at invisibility.
Yeah. It's like feeling like you're at the beginning of the race and you're not even at the track. Like, no, I'm just starting my race.
I'm on the couch.
Dude, you're in the parking lot. You got to walk into the facility and then you can get the line and start. But yeah, so VCP, for those of you who are new to this, it stands for visibility, credibility, and profitability. The I part was kind of a later addition in the evolution of BNI, where Dr. Meisner was saying there's actually an I part where it's invisible. Like people have no idea who you are before you're even visible. So you have to like create that visibility. If it doesn't yet exist for yourself, you need to create some visibility. This does not mean go be an egomaniac and like just scream everything at everybody all the time. That's actually going to work against you. But, if people are not recognizing you, you need to be recognized first and have that visibility, and then we can continue. But the important part here, and I think this is where we're going, is we can't skip steps in any of the parts of BNI because skipping steps or taking shortcuts, I was trying to say those at the same time.
Yeah.
Skipping steps or taking shortcuts actually don't result in the outcome you hope you're going to get by doing so, especially in BNI.
Well, and what are shortcuts?
Oh, well, there are ways of hacking your way through getting to the outcome without actually putting in the time, effort, or work and dedication to the craft you're pursuing.
And that's it. Trying to not do the things that you need to be doing in order to get the results that you want. And it doesn't happen.
No, so you said this is you're watching a Kobe Bryant video?
Yep.
So what was his, look, I hope everyone kind of knows at least who he is. Like he is hands down one of the best basketball players to have ever lived. But he was maniacal when it came to preparation,
oh my gosh,
training, his like intensity. Like you hear these stories now, even like when they were on like the USA men's team, like he'll go at you. You're on the same team. You're doing running scrimmages. He's going to go at you in the paint. He's going to throw his elbows. He's going to shoot it in your face. He's going to press you hard on defense. Like he was relentless, dude.
And he was known for being on the court way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
He was practice. I have a daughter that Abigail, who's a swimmer, and we were talking just recently about the element of when is a race won?
Before you get in the pool.
It's won during practice.
Yeah.
Right. And it took her a minute to think about it, and then it's like, oh, it just popped in there. It's won. Races are not won the day of the race. Races are won at those 4 a.m. swim times or whatever it is that we're doing.
It's when you're doing the stuff that other people don't see.
Yes.
Like I'm going to probably disclose a little bit of my age here, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to get this correct, but there was an Emmitt Smith commercial. I don't remember what brand it was for. I just remember it was Emmitt Smith, and it's the camera coming closer to him, and he's on a bench press, and he's pumping out, he's bench pressing, and I'm like, hey, you just won the Cowboys just won the national championship for NFL Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. And what are you going to do? He's like, I'm already getting ready for next season. That wasn't the catchphrase, but he was basically illustrating the idea that yeah, we might have won, but the work for the next thing, it starts now, and I'm already doing it.
And you've got to be like that. Now, all that conversation that we just had, how do we apply it to what we do in BNI?
Well, you can easily extrapolate some correlations to this, right? Everything from your preparation before meetings, during meetings, after meetings, the depth and the specificity to which you go for all the meeting elements themselves. Even look, can I have a moment of super honesty?
Please, yeah.
There's open networking for a reason. Every week, there should be an open networking topic in your chapter meeting. It's not because we don't think you can't meet and talk with people about whatever. It's actually because you're just going to sit and talk about whatever. So the introduction of open networking is so that you talk about something that's related to helping you grow in advance in your BNI membership, or as a result of BNI, get an outcome business-wise, referral-wise that you're hoping to have. So I'm going to just start there, show up early. People go, meeting starts at 7. I know there's lunch chapters, but meeting starts at 7. No, that meeting starts at 6:45. If I'm a visitor to BNI, I'm not showing up at 7 if you told me the meeting starts at 7.
Well, because I need to make sure if I've never been to this venue, I show up early just to make sure I'm at the right place.
Hey, listen, sometimes that's the best opportunity. When that meeting ends at 8:30, most people got to scatter. Not everybody can hang around till 8:45 or 9 o'clock. But if you're there at 6:45 and you're doing open networking and the visitors are there, and your other chapter members are kind of straggling in or taking their time, guess what? You can talk to visitors yourself, or maybe in a smaller group of 2 or 3, and you have a little more isolated, focused time with those visitors so you can get to know them better.
Well, and every one of these visitors is a potential client, customer.
Potential referral partner.
Right?
Yeah.
Referral partner, all of it.
So, we can extrapolate every element of the meeting. I don't want to do that. I'm just saying, let's just start with open networking. That's something just don't cut corners. Stop trying to just have it a different way. Just go right to the thing and do whatever the open networking is. At the bare minimum, it's going to help you get into the talking because it's 6:45 in the morning. It's 7 in the morning. If you have not been talking to yourself on the way to the meeting to warm yourself up and have some conversations that are meaningful, then open networking is your first opportunity to do so. And then that way you're in the meeting, you're even a little more prepared. As you can tell, I'm a little adamant about this one because every week we have open networking, and every week we do open networking check, and maybe a couple people have something to say, but I would love for everyone to have something to say.
So why don't we want to shortcut? Why don't we want to do that, if that's the right question?
I almost wish there was an audience here so I could ask this question, and maybe you guys can put this in the comments, but list out for me all the advantages you've received in your personal and professional life by taking shortcuts. Go ahead, write them all out. That list is probably pretty short.
I've had more time on the couch.
Right. Yeah. Well,
but that's.
But again, the whole point, and I know I'm being heavy-handed. I know this. I'm very aware of how I'm sounding right now. There is no long list of advantages for taking shortcuts. There just isn't. And as we get older, I'm going to say this I'm 46 right now. I'm going to say this. I'm been on my own in business since my early 20s. So I'm 24 years into being on my own. Okay. There are certain things that are just true because they're true, and they're going to be true until I'm 80 or 90 and dead at one point. And one of those is you're not going to get the result you want by cutting corners.
No. I mean, the easiest example that, at least that I use, is going into the gym. You go into the gym to get fit, right? You go, what's the purpose of getting a membership at the beginning of the year besides your
lose weight, feel better, have more energy, rest more. Like, it's all those things.
Yeah.
And you can try to skip those steps, but it's not going to work. Like, look, man, I'll be candid. I started the year way bigger than I wanted to be. But guess what I've been doing? Eating healthier, exercising, taking more water intake. Like, if I was Kobe, first of all, I wouldn't have gotten to that position where I had to do something about it. But now I'm on the other side where I got to do something about it.
Yep.
Similarly, let me draw a correlation to BNI. Let's say I'm in the gray. I'm a power of 1, or I'm in the red. Why am I there?
Because you're not doing the work.
Okay. Now, with the exception of people having medical excuse, complete life things that are way outside of like actually just putting in some effort, there's no reason someone should be all the way in the gray, right? And I'm not saying this to disparage people, Ed. So please, if you're watching this and you're in the gray, there are people who can help you get into the red, get back into the yellow, and get into the green on your Power of 1 report. That's where we want you. Not because it's some banner we get to wave as a region. It's because you're more likely to have continued success and advancement in getting and giving referrals and closing business by executing on the fundamentals of a membership that you bought into because you were hoping to get the outcomes that were promised. So cutting corners is not going to deliver that. It is only by going through the steps and through the processes and being realistic about how long some of them are going to take. You kind of, right before we started, you said something about Kobe's getting injured and his Achilles.
Yeah, it's actually...
and how he was intentional about not rushing to his return, but it was so he could fully heal and actually recover to the same strength he had been prior to the injury.
It's actually called No Shortcuts in Recovery. And I'll just read it here really quick. After tearing his Achilles in 2013, Kobe didn't take shortcuts in rehab. Instead of rushing back, he attacked recovery with the same intensity he brought to basketball, spending hours daily doing painful rehab exercises to get back to the court.
Yeah. It's so fascinating looking back now when a lot of these guys who post-career have begun going at interviews and were sharing their kind of methodology. And you see this with a lot of athletes. It's not just him. I know we're referencing him for our kind of launch pad for today's conversation, but you hear, if you're a baseball lover, there's all of these news stories that have come out about Greg Maddux and how he was as a pitcher and how just that dude was playing 4D chess on people, like letting him hit a home run earlier in the season only so he could set them up to get them on their back heels and strike them out in the postseason, like that kind of level crazy,
when it counts.
Right? There's all these Wayne Gretzky things. If you're a hockey guy and how focused he was on training. If you're an NFL guy, there's a handful of dudes you can listen to. You got the Peyton Mannings, you got Tom Brady's, but I'm going to talk about Jerry Rice because Jerry Rice was exemplary when it came to practice, intensity, and preparation and mastering the core basic skills.
Yep.
And in BNI, guess what? We have a whole field of players, the hundreds of members in town with a wide variety of mastering the fundamental skills, again, which is fine. But the intensity you have from me here today is that competitiveness on my own behalf and yours as well. When I know what's possible and I see people try to still have what's possible, but think they can do it by sing it.
What's the phrase?
Look, at my house, you know what? Can I just say it? I'm just going to say it, all right? I have a phrase at my house I adopted many years ago when my girls were old enough to understand that daddy doesn't talk like this all the time, which is don't half-ass it, whole-ass it. It sounds funny, but, it's a colloquial term. Like, don't half-ass it, right? But seriously, it doesn't get you anywhere. And so the strong kind of posture I have in this today is because I understand and know and have experienced the fullness of the BNI system and the methods and the reason we have traditions and the reason we have the innovation part and the reason we have core values and the reason we have accountability and the reason we measure things. Like Ivan says, what gets measured gets done. I mean, how many different ways of attacking this do I need to state? The obvious, which is you got to put in the work.
Yep.
And by putting in the work, you're going to get the outcome that you're hoping for. And I can tell you that having been in BNI since 2009 now, having done over 400 one-to-ones, having this year crossed $1 million of closed business given.
That's amazing, by the way.
I'm also going to, on the receiving side, I didn't tell you this. I'm going to hit $500,000 this year. So in 2025, I will hit $500,000 on my business received part. So it's not an equal one-to-one in my case. For some people, they actually make more than they give.
Yeah.
And some people kind of make one-to-one exactly that. They get $1 for every dollar they've given. And but that's not because I just like sat idly by and was like hoping stuff would happen. Like you got to get to action. You got to do all the stuff in the right way in order to be able to hold that trophy up at the end.
And that's a key phrase, do the stuff, right? Follow the process.
Yeah.
There's a process for a reason, right? We had a team meeting a month or so ago, and in this team meeting, one of our directors, who's a member here in BNI San Diego, her name is Jennifer Dreyfus. She's a business coach. And Andy, I don't know if you were in the room or not, but we talked about, I was sharing a story about my daughter who's a swimmer, Abby, who's becoming well-known in San Diego with all of our members. But we were talking about that element of wanting to get her in the habit of swimming to the wall at full speed. And you've ran races before, right?
Let's just say yes for the purposes of this conversation.
at the end of this race, there's this ribbon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the finish line.
What do you do?
The saying is run through the tape.
Run through the tape.
Run through the tape. Yep.
Why do you run? Why not? Oh, it's there. I'm just going to touch it.
Well, how many track and field videos do you have to watch to see someone take their foot off the gas in the last meter or the last couple feet and then they get passed by their opponent?
That's it. Right? Because when you just run up to the tape, you're actually slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in deceleration instead of continued pace. So again, similarly, there's times in BNI though where maybe our life has caused us to slow down a little bit, and we got to get back up to speed, and that's okay.
Yeah,
this is not me browbeating people about having to confront and handle things that are really weighing in on your life or your company or your business. Maybe it might be policy, maybe it may be personal, maybe it may be personnel at your business. Yep. Maybe it may just be, I'm a little tired right now. You know what? I need to revitalize myself a little bit. Whatever the reason is, going back to the things at work that you put effort into, fall in love with that process. Fall in love with the process, because on the other end of falling in love with it is the outcome you're hoping for.
Yeah. Well, and why, Dr. Meisner talks about it all the time. Why, I don't know how the term goes, why accept mediocrity when...
Why accept mediocrity when excellence is an option?
That's it.
Yeah. When he said, the first time I heard that, I've never forgotten it since. I mean, our chapter name happens to be Partners in Excellence. That was before I even heard Ivan say that, but I've never forgot that. I've talked about that at every company I've started or every team I've started is why accept mediocrity when excellence is an option. And on the time and honest moment here, in times when I've gotten a little complacent or comfortable, and I start seeing mediocrity creep into our system, or our production, or whatever, our pipeline, whatever you want to call it, I go, oh, hey, hold on. Mediocrity is actually a threat to me. It's not an aid to my customer, client. It's not an aid to me personally. And when you know what mediocrity looks like compared to what excellence looks like, you can actually see them a lot more clearly moving forward and as you mature. But also, you will look at it as a threat and not your friend. And then you can do something about it. You have to just go do something about it.
And just do it. Do the stuff. Right?
Yeah, look yes, I've become this way after many years of watching myself and others try other things that are off the range of the core center lane that BNI and Ivan and everyone that's a leader in BNI has set as a course for what will work most often with most people. And seeing things kind of outside of that, like, that's fine. That's a novel idea. That's a great suggestion. But like, the truth is, you're not going to grow muscle unless you go bang out those weights. You're not going to lose actual weight unless you change the nutrition and all the other things. You got to drink your water, stay alive. Like, there's just things that are true because they're true, and it's the same with BNI. You can't expect to get great referrals out of a 1-to-1 and you don't take your worksheets. Mm-hmm. You can't expect to get great referrals from your feature presentation when you don't prepare it in advance and you just show up and shoot from the hip.
Well, and Dr. Meisner years ago, when I worked with him at our global headquarters, I was with him for 7 years at our global headquarters. He taught me years ago that, Ed, people are watching. So the very first time I ever went to a conference, which was in Rhode Island, as an employee of his, before we left for conference, he invited me into his office and said, "Hey, I I want to set the stage for you. And he said, basically, Ed, from the moment you step out of your room in the morning until the moment you step into the room at night, when you're at a BNI conference, you are on and you represent me, Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI. And I learned, and we talked a little bit about it, and I realized that what he was telling me was not just true in BNI, but it's in the work that we do as members in the chapter. People are always watching.
Yeah.
And when we shortchange it, when we show up to the meeting right at 7 or 7:05, or we're not ready and we're discombobulated because we weren't prepping for it, we weren't preparing for it. Guess what? That time that Andy has been trying to find me a referral for ages, and it just so happened that this week Andy found that referral for me. And I showed up right on time, or I showed up a little late. I'm a little discombobulated. Here's the question, Andy, when it comes time to go around to give referrals, are you going to be excited about taking that referral out of your pocket and giving it to me? Or are you going to hesitate because what's that saying that we've said before? How you do one thing,
it's how you do all things.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I'm like this in the chapter that is supposed to be my most important meeting of the week, how am I going to be with that referral that you gave me?
Yeah, it does introduce a level of hesitancy.
Yes.
Because you're right.
Doesn't mean that you're not going to give it.
No, but that's why I very specifically said it that way. It introduces a level of hesitancy, because if I've known you to be trustworthy this whole time, and I know you're going to be on time, I know you're going to be focused, I know you're going to operate at excellence, like that should be a very easy referral to give.
And knowing that we all have bad days.
Well, yeah, bad days or even bad seasons of life. Like, I mean, most people at this point know, like, my wife had cancer in 2024. Yep. Like, I was doing my best to keep everything together, but like some days I was way better than others.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm not referable? No. But conditionally speaking, there's some days, man, I was super sharp. And other days, like, man, I'm exhausted. Yesterday was crazy. I can't even believe I'm here at BNI. I still made it, but man, I need to I need to get it together so I can focus, right? So just understand there's that like asterisk disclaimer. That's just happening sometimes. But that's more of the exception, not the rule. Okay. And the thing about this, and you were talking about Ivan preparing you and you being seen as an extension and representation of him at conference or wherever you're going, is people are watching. If you're there at 6:45 or 6:50, people are there, they see you.
Yep.
If you show up at 7:10 and we've already started the sit down part and you walk in, everybody sees you. Everybody knows. Now, I'm not going to ridicule you. I'm not going to point you out like, hey, everyone point and laugh. Here comes Ed at 7-Eleven. Whoa. That's not happening, but I don't even need to do that.
Nope.
And that's what's happening.
Yes.
Right? So whether you like it or not, it's the observations are being done. And again, it's to your advantage to do everything within BNI well and do it with excellence. It's only going to help you. I've never seen it hurt someone or cause them to retreat in their membership success as a result of doing things with excellence.
And one of the best ways to do that is engage. If you're going to invest your money, because BNI is not cheap, thank God, and you're going to invest even more importantly your time, why half-ass it?
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we expect our dollars to generate a return for us, and then sometimes we make BNI an exception because we just love everybody.
Well,
and that's fine too.
And that to me is spending time.
Well,
not investing, right. And there is a different mentality there.
My point is that if you're spending money online to boost an ad, or you're doing some sort of ad spend for SEO, or you're doing a little online commercial or something, or maybe you're spending to do print mailers or door hangers, whatever you're doing, you're measuring some sort of return. Yes. Now in BNI, we measure a return in the system, but at the membership level, whether you're measuring your return or not is broadly on you. Mm-hmm. Whether you open the app and record everything the way you're encouraged to do, it's going to show up or not show up based on what you put in. Okay, so if you would expect a return on your marketing dollars, then expect a return on your BNI membership too for yourself. But that means you got to do the work. Now we transfer our money for potential reward when we do a door hanger or a print flyer or an online network. Hey, money, go work. Yep. But in the BNI sense, it's our money and our commitment that are working together to get us the outcome that we're hoping for. Yeah. And you have to uphold your end of the bargain. Your money isn't going to do it for you in BNI. Because guess what? If you pay $10,000 a year for BNI or 20 with the same amount of effort, it's not going to change your outcome.
So what are some other areas where it's really easy, you've either seen or done, and I've got my own stories, where we've tried to shortchange or shortcut the effort to work?
I'm sorry, I don't really have an answer for you because I don't do that in BNI. I've had moments where I've had to enhance something I've done or go back to a best practice that I kind of strayed from for some other reason, but it hasn't changed the truth of the best practice. So I'm going to come back to the Kobe Bryant starting point, okay? So this isn't about slip down the hill on this thing and there's a crack over here. It's more about returning to the thing and the behavior and the attitude and the action that I know will generate the outcome I want. Now, that can be the rising tides raise all ships thing. Yep. So I'm going to go back to Kobe Bryant. Him being excellent in practice and him being excellent on the court and him putting that effort in, does that make his teammates better or worse?
Oh, always better.
You can't sit here and honestly argue that it made his teammates worse. And in most cases, it probably smoked some people out who were dogging it and then brought them up into a standard of excellence. So if I do that and I embody that in my chapter, if I'm the Kobe of my chapter or there is another Kobe in my chapter, can I pursue in the same way that he had pursued on the court in my chapter, in preparation for my meeting, in my one-to-ones, in my quality referrals, in recording all my stuff, in being prepared to give my weekly ask, in my feature presentation, in my inviting? Am I being intentional about all those things? At the level that you would say Kobe Bryant was intentional with his teammates that same way. Because I bet if that doesn't exist in your chapter, then let's try to get there. Yep. And if it does exist in your chapter, honestly, respond to us. Does that help elevate the standard of execution of your chapter? Everybody. Or is everyone still kind of, and they're hunkered in their own levels?
Well, I mean, you can even just look around at your chapter. Look around and find that person who's killing it. Who's bringing in the referrals, who's giving referrals, who's doing one-to-ones. Find that person and use that as a mirror for, am I doing these things? Am I getting the same success in my industry like they're getting in their industry?
I'm going to use, I didn't know this was going to come up. My mind is flashing at me like, Andy, you remember that Bill Parcells thing? And I'm like, yeah, I remember it. But what was it? What was the exact quote? I don't remember. Here's the reference. Bill Parcells in a press conference one time said something about the record. And it's like, the score is the score. Like, our record is our record. So in pro sports, if you're a winning team and you've won, 50 games and you've lost 10, that's your record. That's how good you are. In BNI, we record our record as our power to one and our thank you for closed business. And there's a lot of variables here. I'm not saying that you can't be in the red and give great business. That's not my point. My point is, what gets measured gets done. This has been a BNI core principle from decades. For decades, what gets measured gets done. We measure things on purpose, not to expose and criticize people, but to call you into what's best for your membership and the value you bring to the room. We are calling you up from the gray into the red. We're calling you up from the red into the yellow. We're calling you from the yellow into the green. And in the green, we're setting that standard that we can inspire and encourage other people to join us there and stay at that level. You know what that makes it really easy to do in the room? Invite people. Mm-hmm. You know how easy it is for me to tell visitors that we closed $3 million of business in 2024 and that we're marching towards 45 members. Okay, we're at 33. All right, we got a ways to go. Yep. But our goal is clear. Everyone's focused on the same goal. And then when I say, we closed $3 million of business last year, 3.1 to be exact, and our goal is by 2026 to close $5 million, I'm giving them something to latch their teeth onto, sink their teeth into, and go, I want to be part of this. I don't have to sell them beyond that because they're going to either witness and see that they want to be a part of something like that or not. And I'm okay with both because people that see it, I want. People that don't see it, they can have some more time.
You don't
want. They may self-select out, and I'm okay with that too because the vision I'm casting for my chapter is the same that all the chapter members have too. Mm-hmm. So by having that kind of line in the sand of our goal this season is to go to the NBA Finals and win, that's all our efforts contributing towards that outcome. That's the same thing in BNI. No football team starts the season trying to go 2-13 or 14. How many games they play now? 17 games, whatever. No one's trying to go have a losing season. Everyone's trying to get to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the equivalent of BNI is growth, closed business, more memberships, and success for everyone on the team, that they win at whatever level their classification can reward them financially. Okay, so then you set that precedent, and then all things need to promote that and contribute towards that. Otherwise, it's competing for it, and it's undermining what you're hoping for.
Well, and I loved how you put that. You're not calling somebody out. You're calling them up.
I'm calling you up. I'm calling you up into what's possible. And I think that we love each other too much to be honest in a way that is impactful. And that's why there's this intensity from me today, is because I know this.
you know that's interesting that you just said that, because oftentimes people confuse that, and they think that because I love them, because I care about them, I don't want to hold them accountable.
But but here's the problem with that. Is if I see something better in you that you don't see in yourself, that's my window to encourage you.
Whoa, I like that.
So if I see that you're capable of this, and I see you dogging it, I'm not going to be like heavy, oh, Ed, you're just dogging it. You need to do this and do that. And you're like, man, Andy's on fire. His head's steaming today. Go back and watch other episodes. I'm super calm, very practical. But this one really gets me, because if I see better in you and I don't call you up into that and try to usher that out of you to reach the potential that I see, then that's me participating in the limitation that you are living out.
Yeah.
Like, let that sit.
Yeah.
I'm actively participating in the limitations that I'm willing to watch you walk out because I don't want to say something to you. I don't think that's loving at all.
No.
And I do come from a sports background, so I've allowed people to talk to me that way and knife hand you in the locker room, like, but also, hey, I know you're better than that. Why are you dogging it today? Okay, yeah, you're dogging it, but I know you don't. So what do you need help with? Is it an indication that there's something else going on that I don't know, but if I did know and you'd let me help you, that you could still get back to where I know your potential excellence is at?
And why would someone take that from you?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Why they take it from you?
Why would they receive that from you?
Well, because I've already invested in that relationship. You can't just say that to somebody you met yesterday.
So that's the key thing, right? Is in order to hold somebody accountable, in order to what was the term? Call somebody up.
Call someone up. Mm-hmm.
You've got to have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
So if you're at the I, we talked about VCP and the little I.
Yeah.
If you're at little I with someone, you can't do that. That's all that's going to be is you calling them out. No,
you have to be at the credibility part of the relationship in the VCP model. You have to be at credibility. Whether it's profitable or not is another thing, because that's an outcome-based thing. The credibility part is where I trust you, you trust me. And here's the thing. You might have to go first. You might have to tell your other member, like, I need accountability. Can we be accountability partners? Not, Ed, you need accountability. So you know what? I'll be your accountability partner too. You keep me accountable for this, and I'll keep you accountable for the thing that I see you really struggling with right now, and you just can't seem to get it right. Like,
that's what we think. That's what we think accountability is.
Well, we know it's not.
Yeah.
But my point is that sometimes you have to demonstrate the leadership by actually asking for yourself to have some accountability too. Ooh. I mean, accountability is one of our core values.
Yeah.
So I should be, before I'm willing to, or before I should maybe offer to keep someone else accountable, like am I honestly letting myself be accountable first by somebody else who I know cares for me and will tell me, hey, I know you can do better than that. And then, look, I've had some hard conversations with people. And sometimes that just sounds like this. Look, I like you and I love you and I care for your business. I don't know what's changed, but the person I know is dormant and I don't know why. What can I do to help you get to where I know you've been successful before? What's blocking you? Like, it can open up all these other questions. And very much like this is becoming a coaching conversation right now. But you can, for the people you know the best in your room, you can tell. You can honestly go around the room, look down your roster. You can see who's having struggle. You don't have to just use the power of one. The power of one is the scorecard for where there might be some trouble.
Yeah.
But you can probably just look around the room, or even right now, close your eyes and think about your chapter meeting. Who is just kind of not at their best right now?
Not engaged.
And do you know why?
Yeah.
If you don't know why, find out. Be curious enough to ask. And maybe there's some sensitivity things that they don't want to talk to you about. Okay, that's fine. Let that be as well. Then you can also ask them, who do you trust to help you with whatever's going on?
And asking, even being willing to ask, and even if they don't share at the moment, they know that you cared enough though to ask. So today might not be the right time. Maybe it's a week from now. and they remembered, oh, Andy asked me, and I can go.
Yeah.
I'm at a place where I can go and talk to them.
Look, I from the front of the room as president, I routinely tell this to people. If you are having a problem in our chapter or as a member and you do not want to raise your hand and talk about what it is, I want you to call, text, or email me so I can have a dedicated time to address whatever's concerning you so that you can have the success you are looking for in our room.
That's it.
I have to do that because, again, I know this from my other career paths I've had before. Most people, this is a broad stroke, okay? Broad stroke disclaimer. Most people are going to tell you that they have a problem or that something isn't working at the 11th hour when they're just about to punch out.
Yep.
And it may be too late for you to help them with the thing because they didn't tell you early enough in the process. Now, I'm not blaming them. I'm saying they just don't. We don't tend to tell people early in the process, oh, this might be a bigger problem later down the road. I'm not sure yet, so let's start accountability today. Like, nope. It's usually we're already far down the road.
Yeah.
We're about to punch out, exit the freeway forever or whatever. And then we go, oh, I need help now. Well, okay. So be able to be available to entertain the conversation the member needs to have. And if you're a member who needs to have a conversation with your leadership team or your mentor coordinator or your director or Ed or myself, you need to come forward. We cannot help you if you silently suffer inside BNI. And I do not want silent suffering in BNI San Diego.
That's the key thing. We can't help you if you don't share it.
Correct.
Now, some of us, some of you, whoever it is, may be able to see it on you and may ask, but let's face it, there's a lot of people, and I'm one of those, I wear a very good mask. No one would ever know those things. So it's up to me to be willing to be vulnerable, to be transparent, to give it my best, to create that excellence that we talked about earlier, and realize that the only one I'm hurting by trying to, what's the term, shortcut, is me. Not hurting anybody else in the room. Actually, I take that back.
You sure?
It's probably hurting other people in the room.
Well, they're not getting your best.
Yeah,
if I showed up today, unprepared, would that be acceptable to you? The answer is no.
No.
So I know I'm going to be in the studio today recording with Ed. I got to rest well the night before. I got to be prepared. I got to be ready to have this conversation. So you can't let me dog it, right?
Yeah.
So, and if I withhold my best from you, then what's that do for our audience too? Yeah. Right? Then they're getting some like second-rate version of Andy, which, right, and again, hair on fire. The term's hair on fire. I know it's steam on head. Okay, steam on head. But you. Gosh, man, there's so much packed in this whole Giver's Gain thing.
Well, and I can see the passion. You don't have that vein right here, but I can see it. If it was there, I know exactly right where it'd be.
As a Giver's Gain person, we care so much about what happens for other people that makes their life better and awesome.
Yes.
And we're willing to sacrifice ourselves and our success sometimes along the way.
Ooh.
Now, likely, what's also true is other people in a room, they want that for us too, and we need to let them do that. You need to let people help you when you need help. I've had to learn this through a lot of different seasons in my life where it was emotional help. It was financial help. And so, I mean, some of the people in BNI San Diego, they know my story. I had another business. I lost that business publicly, very publicly, with a world famous athlete. And I became ill. I was hospitalized. I had to burn down my company. You know who was there to help me close my company? My business attorney in BNI. You know who helped me start this company? My business attorney in BNI. You know who brought me back into this space by offering me a consultative position inside his business to help do creative content? A member in BNI. Okay? You know who did my bankruptcy when I had to file that? A member in BNI. You know who does my insurance right now, Ed? A member in BNI. Right? You're catching the theme, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in a position where I needed people to do their best for the thing that they were representing for my company and for my family, they did. And now I also can do that for people when I can bring my best to them in whatever version of videography and promotion and podcasting, whatever it is, bring my best to that for them, which then downstream helps their business and then their family or impact their clients or whatever that might look like. And obviously I love this topic because we've been talking about it forever, and I can talk about this with people in a variety of ways. The takeaway that I want everyone to leave with today is if you are not having the success in BNI that you are wishing to have in BNI, what length are you willing to go to accept the help you need to have what you want? That's the question. What length are you willing to go to accept the help to have what you want in BNI? Are you willing to get up at 4 a.m. and go to the court and shoot 1,000 shots? Are you willing to go to sleep the night before early? Are you willing to hydrate? All these correlations.
Yeah.
Are you willing to fill out your one-to-one worksheets? Are you willing to do open networking? Are you willing to do one CEU a week? Are you willing to come to training and do MSP again if you've been a member for 10 years and you haven't gone, you haven't dusted it off, you haven't even seen the new version that your new members know about that you don't? Like, I am talking my trash right now because I love sports. I'm a competitive guy. I'm also a very loving giver's gain guy too. So it's that mix of those things. But I really want you to self-assess today. If you need help and you're not asking for help, what is standing in your way from getting what you want out of BNI? Be honest about it, and whatever's blocking you is currently in the way of your success in BNI and then your success in business. Let us help that get unblocked so you can get back on your way towards the success that you want.
Don't shortcut the work. And I will tell you, if this mic didn't have a stand, that would have been a drop the mic moment.
Well, you can drop the mics. We'll just have to buy new ones. Welcome to the most expensive episode ever.
No, I can see your passion though, and I'm the same way. When you see the potential in people, and you know what having a group of professionals around you can do for you, and you see individuals in the room that are not taking advantage of it, that are shortchanging themselves, it just kills you.
When I see the golden people, and I know that what's possible for them is a little bit above what they're operating at, that's an opportunity to encourage and inspire people and coach them up. Yeah, coach them upwards. And I'm looking to be coached upward too. So I consume a wild amount of BNI content outside of the show we do, outside of my own chapter, outside of our show. I consume a ton of networking, business, economic, video, creator, YouTube, media, content constantly. And I'm looking for people ahead of me, better than me,
always, that
I can model what I'm doing now after the level and standard that they're executing at. That's why this room looks the way it does. It didn't look this way 6 months ago. It didn't look this way a year ago. I'm allowing myself to be called up into what's actually possible for Cruise Productions and for BNI San Diego. And this is what that looks like right now.
So you just brought something into mind when I think about, and you just said you're looking for those people who've done it better. Would you look for the people who shortcut it?
We don't tend to look for those people.
No. They're not even in the peripherals, right?
No, they're worth bringing along, but they're not the people I can model after.
Yep.
Yeah, I've changed the version of what this room looks like and what my company does because I'm calling it upward. I'm calling it into its rightful place and position and posture for media in San Diego, for media in BNI San Diego specifically, but media for BNI. Like you go on the internet and look for BNI podcasts. You're going to see a wild variety of shows. You're going to see some that are really nice and well lit and have great cameras and have awesome hosts and guests. And then you're going to see some that maybe don't have that same effort. And again, I'm not criticizing budget or intention. This just happens to be my domain.
Space.
This is my territory. So as my domain, I want this to be the best that it can be because if someone chooses to use another studio, then it better not be because I lacked on something here. Can I just be honest?
That's it.
Like, you're telling me no because you don't have the budget, you don't have the interest, or you found a better place.
Yeah.
If you found a better place, I want you to tell me where it is, and I'm going to go personally tour it and find out what the heck's going on there so I can do that here.
Yeah. Wow. There's so much in this podcast. We could keep going on.
No, the people they got to go. They need to record their CEU.
I don't want that vein to pop.
No. Everyone at this point, Ed, everyone's got to record their CEU. You know what? Take an entire CEU and a half, 1.5. Put that in the system. Just kidding. Round it up to 2. Unauthorized. Whoops. Sorry.
Well, and
that was a shortcut joke, Ed. Come on.
My new favorite saying now, because I heard you say it and it just really impacted me, is, look around the room and are you willing to call people up? Are you willing to call people? I love that phrase. We're not calling you out. Calling you out is something bad. Calling you up is I'm here to help you.
Mm-hmm. Calling you up into your rightful place and position as a business professional with influence in BNI San Diego.
And it's the person we know that you are. So calling you up to your rightful place.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy. Wow. I don't even know what more to ask.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us, Andy. What a great show. A lot of passion. And we are so passionate about this topic because we know the potential that are in the people that are around us. You should know the potential of the people that are in your chapter, that sit next to you each and every week, that you're building relationships with, that you're breaking bread with. Care enough about them to call them up. Don't let them sit where they are. Call them up. Be willing. And sometimes it's not easy, but just know that you do it because you care.
The work is worth it every time.
That's it. Andy, thank you. For our listeners, thank you for joining us for a very passionate conversation. As you can tell, I'm like sweating almost with our conversation. It's been a great one. We look forward to seeing you back here next week with, well, I'm not even going to say it now, but we've got a very special guest next week. So make sure you tune in, and hopefully I'll be able to talk by then as well because of our great conversation today. Thanks again and enjoy your day.
This episode of the BNI San Diego podcast has been brought to you by Cruise Productions, a San Diego-based video production company and proud BNI member. You can find us at the intersection where business and creativity meet, or online at cruiseproductionsinc.com.